King crab traps are specially designed tools to harvest high-value crabs that live in deep, cold seas. These traps are usually constructed of steel or alloy cages that can withstand the high pressure of seawater, and are covered with steel mesh or durable nylon ropes on the outside to prevent crabs from escaping. The common shape of the trap is a round or square cylinder, with a funnel-shaped entrance that allows crabs to easily enter but is very difficult to escape. The size of an average trap can be up to 2 meters wide and nearly 1 meter high, enough to hold dozens of adult king crabs. Inside the trap, fishermen place bait such as small fish, cod heads or seafood with a strong fishy smell to attract crabs. When releasing the trap, people often attach a cable hundreds of meters long to a buoy floating on the sea surface to mark the location. These traps are lowered to depths of 200 to 400 meters, where king crabs live, and are typically left there for 12 to 24 hours before being pulled up. Retrieving the traps requires powerful hydraulic winches to lift the traps, which weigh hundreds of kilograms and contain crabs. Once the traps are pulled up, fishermen sort the crabs on deck. Large males are kept for sale, while egg-bearing or smaller females are released back into the sea to protect the population. Each king crab fishing season typically takes place in winter, when the water is coldest, making the crab meat firmer and sweeter. The work is dangerous because of harsh weather conditions, big waves, strong winds, and temperatures that can drop below freezing. However, the high economic value of king crab, especially in the Japanese, Korean, and American markets, makes the profession attractive to many fishermen in the North Pacific. The design and use of traps must also strictly comply with conservation regulations. To avoid overexploitation and protect the seabed ecosystem, many modern vessels are also equipped with GPS devices, underwater cameras and depth sensors to determine the exact location of the traps. Optimizing production while ensuring sustainability. Thanks to these advances, the king crab fishery is not only a symbol of the strength and courage of fishermen in the Arctic region, but also a testament to the combination of traditional experience and modern technology in fishing. Once the traps are pulled out of the water, the entire crab processing process is quick and careful to ensure product quality. After being brought onto the boat, the king crabs are washed with cold seawater to remove sand and impurities on the shell. Next, fishermen check the size of each crab, using specialized measuring tools to determine whether they meet commercial standards. Crabs of the right size are placed in cold storage or tanks of seawater cooled by a recirculating system to keep them alive until they reach port. Crabs that do not meet standards or are carrying eggs are returned to the sea immediately to maintain biological balance and avoid overfishing of the resource. On many modern vessels, each trap is electronically tagged. Allowing the operator to easily track the number, location, and release time of traps. This data is stored for production management and compliance with regulations on fishing quotas. Trap placement also requires careful calculation. The distance between traps is often from tens to hundreds of meters to avoid overlapping, and the direction of release is chosen according to ocean currents to maximize the chance of crabs finding the bait. In the deep seas of Alaska, Russia, or Norway, the operation of these traps has become part of an industrial-scale fishing chain, where each vessel can carry hundreds of traps and make trips lasting weeks. However, there are many potential risks. Icebergs, high waves and extreme temperatures can cause mooring lines to break or traps to become lost on the seabed, causing significant damage. Therefore, fleets must always maintain constant communication with the operating station and strictly follow maritime safety procedures. King crab traps are not only a means of making a living, but also a symbol of the resilience and mastery of the Arctic fishermen, who defy nature to bring back the rare crab considered the king of seafood once the ship arrives at port. The king crab processing and preservation process continues in a strictly controlled environment. The crabs are transferred from the cold storage to the sorting area at the dock, where seafood experts conduct a final check to ensure that all are alive and of the highest quality. Healthy crabs are packed in specialized foam boxes lined with ice or cold seawater to maintain freshness throughout the journey to restaurants, wholesale markets or processing facilities. Some high-end shipments are also transported by plane under special storage conditions to serve international markets, especially Japan, Korea and the United States, the world's largest consumers of king crab. At processing facilities, king crabs are pre-processed by quick boiling or steaming to fix the color and preserve the characteristic flavor of the meat. The crab bodies and legs are then separated and frozen at extremely low temperatures for export. Each batch is quality tested, clearly marked with the catch source and processing date, ensuring transparency and traceability at every stage. The use of king crab traps not only helps to optimize production but also minimizes negative impacts on the marine environment. Compared to trawling methods, traps cause less damage to the seabed and other organisms, and help fishermen select their target more accurately. In many countries, researchers and fisheries management agencies are constantly improving trap designs to increase crab attraction efficiency while limiting the bycatch of other species. They also apply smart sensor technology to monitor crab movements and density in deep-sea areas, thereby making recommendations on the most effective time and location to release traps. All these advances reflect the trend of sustainable fishing, a direction that the king crab fishery is moving towards, in order to maintain long-term resources for future generations of fishermen. After decades of development, the seemingly simple crab trap has become a symbol of human intelligence, adaptation and pride in the face of the harsh power of the ocean. In addition to technical and economic factors, the king crab trap is also closely associated with the cultural and spiritual life of the fishing community in the far north. Every fishing season, hundreds of ships leave the port in the cold fog, carrying the hope of a bountiful harvest. For them, releasing the trap is not only labor but also a traditional ritual passed down through many generations. Before setting sail, many sailors also have the habit of praying to the sea god for a smooth and safe trip. Meanwhile, making and maintaining the trap is also an art that requires high skills. Skilled workers must know how to bend the steel frame so that the trap is both sturdy and elastic to withstand the pressure of deep water. The net surrounding the trap is meticulously woven. The joints are tied with anti-rot fishing line, ensuring that it does not tear when pulled up. A good trap can last for many seasons if properly maintained. On board, each member's job is clearly divided: the person who drops the trap, the person who operates the winch, the person who monitors the cable, and the person who records the yield. Every move must be absolutely precise, because just a small mistake can cause the trap to get stuck on the seabed or the rope to get caught in the propeller, endangering the whole ship. Week-long trips in the middle of the vast ocean make fishermen face loneliness and harsh weather. But in return they have the pride of bringing back giant crabs, weighing up to 5 to 10 kilograms each. In many seaports in Alaska or Norway, people organize king crab festivals every year to honor this traditional profession. They display trap models, recreate fishing scenes, and introduce crab dishes such as steamed crab, grilled crab with garlic butter, or special crab hot pot. The festival is not only an occasion for cultural exchange but also a reminder of the importance of preserving the ocean and using natural resources wisely. Thanks to that, the king crab trap is no longer just a tool of exploitation but also a symbol of the connection between humans and the deep sea, where the courage, wisdom and perseverance of fishermen are forever engraved in the history of the cold lands. With the development of modern technology, king crab traps are being strongly improved to meet the requirements of efficiency and sustainability in exploitation. Many marine equipment manufacturing companies have researched and produced smart traps with pressure sensors, motion sensors and wireless transmitters to help fishermen monitor the status of the trap right on the ship. Thanks to that, they can know when the crabs enter, the density of crabs in the trap, and decide the appropriate time to pull the trap to save fuel and effort. Some new trap models are also equipped with an automatic opening mechanism after a certain period of time, to prevent the case of losing the rope or the trap getting stuck, helping the crabs to escape instead of being stuck and dying uselessly on the seabed. These improvements contribute to minimum safety and production management standards. Certified vessels will be given priority for export and sold at higher prices, encouraging fishermen to comply with regulations. In addition to economic factors, these initiatives also help make the image of king crab fishing more professional and responsible in the eyes of the international community. Although technology changes every day, the spirit of the fisherman is still the decisive factor in the success of each trip. They understand that in the cold ocean, the trap is not only a means of livelihood but also a symbol of faith, perseverance and a deep bond between humans and nature. From the primitive wooden and rope traps of the past to the modern sophisticated devices of today, the journey reflects the continuous evolution of humans in conquering the sea, while reminding us of the responsibility to preserve and respect the precious resources that nature has bestowed. In the future, king crab traps are expected to continue to develop in the direction of closely combining automation technology, artificial intelligence and green fishing standards. Researchers are testing trap systems that can identify creatures using AI-integrated underwater cameras, allowing them to distinguish king crabs from other species before they enter. This helps reduce bycatch and protect the biodiversity of the seabed. In addition, trap materials are gradually shifting to lightweight alloys, recycled synthetic fibers or biodegradable plastics in the marine environment, helping to reduce ocean waste when traps are lost. These innovations not only increase sustainability but also reduce maintenance costs for fishermen. In many coastal areas of Alaska, collaborative projects between fishermen and oceanographic research institutes are being implemented to collect biological data of crabs throughout the fishing season. Sensors attached to traps record temperature, salinity, pressure and crab emergence times, thereby building seasonal migration maps of king crabs. This data helps scientists more accurately predict natural stocks, supporting the government to set reasonable fishing quotas. Avoiding overfishing has happened in the last century. In addition, images and data from smart traps are also used to educate the community, raising awareness about protecting marine ecosystems. In maritime universities and fisheries research institutes, the construction of king crab trap models has become an important practical lesson for students. Helping them gain a deeper understanding of the relationship between technology, biology and the environment. For fishermen, traps are not only a means of livelihood but also a technical heritage that demonstrates human creativity in conquering the cold ocean. Each time they pull up the traps, in addition to the joy of harvesting, they also feel the pride of continuing the hundreds of years of tradition of their ancestors, those who dared to face the harsh sea to feed their families and build their communities. Therefore, the story of king crab traps is not only a journey of technology and commerce, but also a symbol of the bond between humans and nature, of courage, the desire to make a living and the awareness of preserving the ocean for future generations. Today, as climate change is having a major impact on colder seas, king crab fishing and the use of traps are facing new challenges. Rising sea temperatures are shifting the crab's habitat north, forcing fishermen to venture farther and set traps in deeper, colder waters. This has led to increased fuel costs, longer fishing times, and a higher risk of encountering snowstorms or icebergs. Some areas that were traditionally rich in crabs have seen a significant decline in production, forcing governments to impose moratoriums on fishing to protect the resource. However, new directions have emerged in this difficult situation. Scientists are studying the possibility of artificially raising king crabs in a controlled environment, combined with the use of traps during the release of juvenile crabs to the sea to restore the natural population. Many modern fishing vessels also apply satellite-based voyage monitoring systems and automatically record catches, making management more transparent and fair. Data from the traps is transmitted to the coordination center in real time, serving the purpose of resource forecasting and reasonable exploitation planning. In addition to the technological aspect, the human factor still plays a core role. Veteran fishermen are not only workers but also living treasures of marine knowledge. They know how to read wind direction, observe waves, predict currents and choose the optimal time to release traps, skills that machines can hardly completely replace. In coastal communities, the passing of the profession from father to son is still a sacred cultural feature. Children growing up by the seaport are taught how to tie knots, how to prepare bait and how to recognize adult crabs from a young age. It is this attachment that makes king crab fishing not only an economic activity but also a part of the identity of people in cold seas. The heavy traps lying quietly on the ocean floor carry within them the story of sweat, determination and faith of people clinging to the sea, no matter how the future changes. The image of the trapping boats in the northern fog will forever be a symbol of the courage and perseverance of fishermen in their livelihood on the border between life and the harshness of nature. In addition to economic and cultural value, king crab traps also have profound scientific significance in the study of deep-sea ecosystems. Each trap is dropped not only to harvest crabs but also to accidentally become a natural observation station, helping oceanographers collect valuable information about the bottom habitat. Cameras mounted on the traps record images of other creatures such as starfish, sea cucumbers, cod, octopus, and even species never recorded before. This data supports the study of biodiversity and global climate change. Many international cooperation programs also use king crab traps as a tool to monitor changes in seawater chemistry, measuring dissolved oxygen levels, pH levels and ocean acidification levels, factors that directly affect the crab's calcium shell. Through this, scientists can predict the future health of crab populations and propose appropriate conservation policies. From another perspective, the presence of traps also helps raise public awareness about the importance of sustainable fishing. Reality TV shows such as Deadliest Catch have brought images of boats, crab traps and the lives of Alaskan fishermen to global audiences, making many people understand more about the harshness and hard work behind each crab served on the dining table. Since then, the image of the trap has not only been associated with labor but also symbolized the spirit of exploration and extraordinary endurance of humans in the face of nature. In marine museums, models of king crab traps are often displayed as a testament to the creativity of traditional fishing techniques combined with scientific progress. In many places, people also see traps as a cultural symbol, representing the relationship between humans and the deep sea, between survival and respect for nature. Each steel measuring, each buoy floating in the middle of the murky ocean is a testament to centuries of struggle and adaptation of fishermen to the waves. Although technology may change the shape of the trap, the spirit remains unchanged, the spirit of people who are not afraid to face danger to find value from the sea. At the same time preserving and protecting it as a part of their own soul over the centuries. From primitive traps made of bamboo and hemp rope to modern devices made of stainless steel and synthetic fibers, the development of king crab traps clearly reflects the evolutionary journey of human seafaring. In the past, fishermen relied solely on word of mouth to determine where to drop their traps, usually in cold waters with gravel bottoms or coral reefs, where king crabs forage. Traps were small, easily damaged, and had to be checked constantly to avoid being washed away by waves. During rough seas, many fishermen lost their entire fortunes because their traps were swept away by broken ice. However, it was during this hardship that they accumulated experience, gradually perfected their techniques and passed them on to the next generation. As the fishing industry developed, large steel ships were born, and trapping became an industrial-scale activity. Each trip, ships could carry hundreds of traps neatly arranged like a row of fortresses. Hydraulic winches, GPS, and radar help the ship operate effectively in harsh conditions. However, no matter how modern the technology is, the ingenuity of human hands is still the deciding factor. How to tie the bait. Choose the line, watch the flow direction, and when to pull the trap still requires a subtle feeling that only those who have lived their whole lives with the sea can have. For them, each trap is a part of their memory, a belief sent to the ocean floor. The long nights on deck, when the cold wind hits their faces, the headlights shine on the black water, the winch squealing as it pulls up the heavy traps are the most thrilling moments. Every time they see the bright red claws of king crabs emerging from the net, the whole crew cheers as if they have won. They know that each crab is the result of sweat, daring, and courage. When returning to the mainland, the smell of sea salt still lingers on the shirt, and stories about traps, about the sea, about storms that almost took lives are told around the fire.